Welcome back to Sharpened Blade, the podcast where we sharpen our minds, bodies, and lives for growth and success. I'm your host, Gio Winchurch, and today we're tackling a topic that separates those who dream from those who achieve: discipline. Motivation can get you hyped, but it's fleeting. Discipline, on the other hand, is the foundation of true, long lasting success. It's what keeps you going when the excitement wears off and the challenges arise. In today's episode, we're breaking down why discipline matters, the benefits it brings, and how to cultivate it in your own life. We'll also dive into real world examples and a motivational story that shows how discipline can transform your future. If you've been relying on motivation and wondering why your progress stalls, this episode is for you. Two paths, one choice. Let's start with a detailed story to set the stage. Meet Sarah and James. Sarah is in her mid-20s with big goals. She wants to get fit, pay off her student loans, and eventually start her own business. She's someone who thrives on motivation. When she's feeling inspired, she crushes workouts, cuts out takeaways, and works tirelessly on her side hustle. But when life gets hard, when stress builds up and her energy dips, she falls off track. James, on the other hand, approaches his goals with discipline. He doesn't rely on motivation. His gym sessions are scheduled, non negotiable, and consistent. Rain or shine, his debt payments are automated. And every Saturday morning, he dedicates time to building his business, even when he's tired or distracted. Fast forward 5 years, Sarah is still stuck in the same cycle: start, stop, repeat. She feels frustrated and defeated. Meanwhile, James has paid off his debt, transformed his fitness, and built a thriving business. What made the difference? Discipline. Discipline ensures that when life gets tough, you're still moving forward. And here's the kicker: Sarah has more potential than James, but potential doesn't matter without consistent effort. Discipline beats talent every time. So, why is discipline important? Let's get into the nitty gritty of why discipline is so important. Life is unpredictable. Motivation is like a fair weather friend. It's there when everything is going well, but disappears when times get tough. Discipline is your anchor. It keeps you steady no matter the circumstances. Success requires consistency. Achieving anything meaningful takes time, whether you're building a career, improving your health, or mastering a skill. It's not about a single grand effort, it's about showing up every day, putting in the work, even when you don't feel like it. And you can't always rely on emotions. Your feelings fluctuate. Some days you're all fired up, and other days you're tired, unmotivated, or just feeling overwhelmed. Discipline bypasses emotion. It's the decision to act, regardless of how you feel. Now, why should you want to embrace discipline? Let's talk about the rewards. So, short term gains, you'll start seeing immediate improvements in areas like fitness, productivity, and personal finances. For example, sticking to a workout regime for just a month can improve your energy, mood, and physical health. And your long term success, discipline compounds over time. So, small, consistent actions lead to big results. Think about saving money. Putting away £200 a month may seem small, but with the power of compound interest, it can grow into a significant sum in 20 years. Build self-respect. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you reinforce your self-worth. Discipline is like casting votes for the person you want to become. Each action says, I'm someone who follows through. Resilient under pressure. Life will test you. Discipline gives you the mental toughness to keep going. Even when things get hard, over time it builds resilience, which is invaluable in every area of life. Let's look at how discipline plays out in real life. Fitness example. A personal trainer client of mine once hated working out, but she committed to showing up 3 times a week, no matter what. And after 6 months, she lost weight, gained strength, and now looks forward to each and every one of her sessions that she comes to. If you were to save just £50 a month in an index fund, 10 years later, thanks to discipline and compound interest, that's a small habit grew into a significant investment. I know an entrepreneur who wrote one blog post a day for a year. By the end, he had enough content to publish a book and built a successful business from the exposure. So, how do you get started on building your discipline? So, let's start things off by setting clear goals. Know what you're working towards. Be specific. Measurable goals give you direction and purpose. Automate your decisions. So, using systems to make discipline easier, automating your savings, meal prepping on Sundays, and scheduling workouts like appointments. These will help you in the long term. The less energy you have to put into creating a decision, the more likely you are to follow through on the thing that it is that you want to implement. And over time, it will just become systematic, right? And you won't even think about it. It will just be a Saturday morning. I'm doing my business now, or it's payday, money's going into my savings account, and you don't think about it. Just money gets put into XYZ area. This is what I've got to spend. This is what I'm saving. This is my needs. These are my wants and whatever, and it all gets split up. We'll talk about this in another episode, but you know, having that system set up for you, it's just saves you so much energy, stress, and that's the biggest thing, the stress. You don't realize it, but all of these little decisions you're making each and every day, and when you're not feeling motivated, and when you have to conjure up the motivation, if you will, to do the thing that it is you want to do, you are less likely to follow through in the future because it's taking energy out of you. Have you ever in school done like cross country, right? And you obviously have the kids who are super fit, who are trained to do it. And then there's the kids like myself, who, when we went and did a cross country, we would be in dead last, out of breath, feeling absolutely disgusting. I'm sure you can imagine how you felt doing your sprints, and you were just in pieces whilst you saw another, like, let's say one of your schoolmates who was just ahead of everyone else. This person is trained each and every day over a long period of time to get to where they are. You're now going in full force, having to complete this rigorous exercise that you're not trained to do, and you're out of energy. That is the exact same with when you have to make decisions on things like finances or at work or in your day-to-day life. If you make things as simple as possible, just simplify everything, and you'll have all this energy that you can just pour into what it is that you truly care about, if that makes sense. Um, Start small, okay? So don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Start with one habit, like waking up 30 minutes earlier in the morning if you want to wake up earlier, and build from there, okay? Like here, we're doing a podcast each week, and you never know, maybe in the next couple of years, there'll be multiple episodes in a week, but I'm starting small, and I have realistic expectations of the podcast, so that for me is my little side hustle right now. Do the podcast, edit the podcast, refine, make it the best it can be, and then just go from there. Track your progress. So use a habit tracker or a journal to measure your consistency. Seeing your progress is incredibly motivating, especially for me when you go to the gym and you're starting out and you're not lifting many weights. And people who don't record your workouts, what are you doing? You should record each and every one of your workouts, even if you're not hitting PRs. It just gives you something to focus on, goals to work towards. And not only that, it motivates you to push harder. How do you expect to get stronger, or how do you expect to get fitter if you're not measuring yourself and you're competing with yourself each and every time you come in to do better than the last time, right? Tracking your progress, incredibly motivational as well. Just even on those days where you are feeling super unmotivated and you haven't built up that habit just yet, and you're looking at your progress, and you're like, I've done 5 episodes, I'm so close to 10, and it's getting better and better. Each and every episode is getting better and better. Let's just do the 6th one. Let's get it out of the way, and then let's review it after. And you've done it then as well, and you said you're going to do it. You said you're going to do it, and you've done it, right? And that's such an amazing feeling once you've completed it, because then you can go to the 7th and the 8th and the 9th. By the time you're on your 100th episode, you're going to look back and be like, wow, times were tough, but guess what? I showed up. I followed through. I did it. I did what I was going to do. And that's what's so amazing about this, is just that true self-achievement you feel at the end of it, like in the gym hitting a heavy set, or like completing a marathon, or whatever it is that you set out to accomplish. That amazing feeling you have inside can only be achieved by things like this, right? Long-term wins. And celebrate them. Acknowledge your achievements. No matter how small, it reinforces the habit and keeps you motivated. So, results of discipline. So, when you commit to discipline, let's see what happens here. It increases your confidence. So, you're proving to yourself that you can achieve hard things, and it starts to gain momentum. So, each disciplined action builds on the last, creating an unstoppable momentum and the freedom. Discipline gives you freedom from financial stress, poor health, and unfulfilled potential. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's the quiet actions that you take every day that leads to extraordinary results. Thanks for tuning in to Sharpened Blade. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that discipline is the real key to success. And as always, I'll leave you with our motto: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the strength of your habits. Until next time, stay sharp.